Hey guys, welcome to our channel, and if you're not new,
welcome back
to our channel. Guys, we have some great news to share with you guys. Drum roll.
I have my 2-year green card.
He has his 2-year green card, guys. I'm so sorry this video is late. It's on a Friday, but it's because we were so busy with like getting all his interview paperwork done and trying to get everything together. So yes, Julio got approved, guys. And for this interview, this was the AOS interview, the adjustment of status. We already did the K1, he came here. So that's the second process, which I will help you guys with. So stay tuned for the details. All right, guys, so the interview process it went really smooth. What do you think? How did you think it went?
It's fun. It's more time waiting for, for the interview. When you sit down over there, it's nervous. What he asking me, but no, it's for me, I don't know. The beginning it's nervous, but it's easy.
Yeah. Our appointment was at 7 o'clock in the morning. Not a morning person, so already I was like, oh my God, nervous and like cranky at the same time. But we were like super excited. And they called us back. Well, he called us back and he asked Julio a few questions. He asked for our photos.
Yeah, but already me and you have a lot.
Yeah.
And you, all the conversation together, his picture for WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah. We gave him all the stuff. We answered all the questions, and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna approve you guys." And we were like, "Yay!" So we're finally done with this process, and of course, there's more, but we are finally done. So at least with this, and he has his physical green card, guys. It came within like it didn't even take long, honestly. It took like a few days, and he already has it. So we're like we're set. Oh my God, I'm just so happy. And I have to throw him like a little party or something, guys. So just to like, we gotta throw something. So in this video, guys, we're gonna be talking about the I-129 form, something that we already did, of course. To get to where we are right now, we had to go through this whole K1 process. So I wanna help you guys. And I know I had a lot of questions, like I mentioned from the last video that I did for the K1 process. So first, we're gonna start off with some things that I asked Julio for while he was in Cuba before I even submitted the I-129 form. Do you remember what I asked you for?
Well, you're asking me for the photo of the passport.
His passport photo, yes. What else?
My passport photo, and the same time that I signed the letter I marry with you in 90 days.
Yes, the letter of intent that you were going to marry that person within 90 days. I needed to write one and sign one. He needed to write one and sign one, and we signed each other's. So that's what you need to do. And then anything else?
The picture of my ID.
His picture ID, hit the front and back.
Yeah,
he sent me.
My Cuban ID.
And that was it. That's all I needed from Julio. Everything else was from me. So I'm gonna show you guys the packet that I sent, and we can go through it. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna be answering all of the questions that you guys had in my previous video. So let's just get right into it. I don't want to make this too long because I want to make sure I answer all your questions, and I don't drag this video out for you guys. I want to make sure I include all the details needed. So let's just get right into it. All right, guys, so I'm going to take you through the packet that I actually sent for my I-129. I made copies of everything. So these are like actuals, and I signed them all, and Julio signed them all. So one thing you're going to notice is that I signed it November 25th. Julio signed it November 4th. That's because the next time I saw Julio was November 4th, and I already submitted the packet in September. So I had him sign it just in case we needed it for the interview. But you don't need you don't need your significant other to sign before you send off to the USCIS. So the first thing I included was a cover letter, and you guys can see it here. I put my name, my address, and where I was, my city, state, and zip code. I put the USCIS address, who it's going to, and I basically said, hi, I'm the petitioner. I'm filing an I-129 for my alien fiance beneficiary, Julio, for your review, and we are a couple seeking to marry each other in the US. Granted, I think it's just well organized to have like a cover letter, and also it's good for you because you can track everything for yourself as well. So some things that were included in the packet is a personal check. I did mail out a check. I didn't pay online. I personally preferred check because I wanted to see when they would cash it, so I know they actually got it. And shortly after, I got my NOA1. So I do recommend using a personal check. Of course, the cover letter is next. After is the G1145, which is the notification that I was telling you guys about, that they would notify you by text or email if you submit that document. Next is the I-129 form, circumstances of meeting, birth certificate, US passport, all the details that you could possibly need. And I'm showing this for a very long time just in case you guys plan on using a cover letter, so you can just take all this info that you need and personalize it the way you want. But this is what I included in our I-129 form. So on the next page, and guys, I just crossed out everything because of course it has all of our personal information. So if you see anything crossed out, that's because it has all of our, like I said, these are actual documents that we use and I printed out. So next, this is the GI-144 form, like I'd mentioned. Right here, that's how you're gonna see that is the actual GI-1145 form. And all it's asking is for your last name, your first name, middle name if you have one, email address, and also your phone number, which I highly recommend adding because I got a text saying that my case was approved and then that they received my case. So next is the I-129 form. Guys, this is like, you know how to fill this out. Make sure to include all the information and be as accurate as possible. Make sure to answer every question. Some of them I put NA at that point. I know they stated not to leave anything blank. So anything that didn't apply to us, I put N/A, which I highly recommend. Granted, you don't have to anymore, but I just recommend just so they know that you didn't forget to not fill anything out. So yes, all these informations was filled out by us. Just skimming through since it's, you know, you guys just need their personal information. So for here, I wanted to point this out for later on. Part 2, information about your beneficiary. Item number 54 is asking you to explain how you guys met. In that section, I did say, please see attachment, because I provided a very detailed essay, I guess, on how we met. So I put that as the answer for 54, just to see the attachment. And yeah, let's keep going. Guys, don't forget to answer all the questions because you don't want to get an RFE. And also, like I mentioned before, you want to make sure to actually sign it. You have to sign it. A lot of people I heard forgot to sign and they got an RFE because of it. So please make sure to sign the I-129 form. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I did provide additional information because I had many jobs within the last 5 years. Because this is my passport info page and passport pages that I included. That also shows that I went to Cuba. So, you know, it shows proof that I actually had went to go see him, and it includes all my passport pages and stamps. So I do recommend submitting that with your I-129 form. Next, like Julio mentioned, I submitted his ID front and back. So that's what this is his ID from Cuba. And next is the letter of intent. This you will need to submit with your I-129 form. Same thing, guys. I did name, date, name, address, the information for the USCIS, their address, and basically saying, well, this is Julio. So he was like, I, Julio, do hereby state that I will legally able and willing to marry me, within the 90 days of arriving into the US using the K-1 visa, and like us saying that we love each other and blah, 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 blah. And then he signed it and dated it. Granted, this is another one. The original one I sent over and I had him do it. We have to do an updated one for the interview, and I had him do one in December. So that's why it's saying December 27th. Because you do need to update the letter of intent, because things do change. Of course, things did change. And this is just mine. So same thing, guys, that I'm saying I'm going to marry Julio. Next is proof of relationship. I did give like a little letter stating like, this is our proof of relationship. I hope that we provided enough evidence for you guys, and hope you enjoy our brief summary of our relationship. So I'll take you guys through that and what it looked like. So I didn't print actual photos. I just printed them out on paper. So I didn't go to like CVS and get them all done and printed out. No, I just did on paper. So this is what it looked like. This is our first picture together ever. And like it says, like my friends and I were like exploring the city, and I saw Julio coming, and he didn't know that I liked him at the time, and blah, 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 blah. But this is something that you want to include, like a brief description, where it was, and the date. So make sure to include that information with your photos, just so that they can get like a timestamp, like, oh, okay, she was there. Oh yeah, her passport stamp says she was there in June, so that makes sense that she took it in June. Like things like that, they're gonna, backtrack on. So make sure to provide as much detail as possible. This is myself, Julio and his mom, and just us at the house, and I'm just giving like explanations on what we're doing and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna keep going through the photos. They love to see family photos. They love to see photos of you guys together having fun. This is when I put a mask on his mom. It was the cutest thing. And I'm gonna keep going. Like I said, just like a brief description of everything, the location of where it was. Keep going through. And these are also, we spoke to each other on WhatsApp, so I would sometimes just screenshot us talking, and then I included those into our proof of our relationship. So especially talking to his mom and stuff like that. So I do recommend taking screenshots while you're talking to your significant other. Calls that we made to each other, I included as well. So I'm gonna keep going, but these are all of our calls. Next are text messages, and I translated them in the bottom. I don't think you need to do that, but I was just being extra and being precautious. So I did translate them at the bottom, just in case, like poems that we wrote to each other and like lovely notes. And then next I included any like hotel reservations, anything, airline tickets, anything that I bought in Cuba, I included into the proof of us, being together in Cuba. So this was our reservation. This is when I first actually went to Cuba and met Julio. This is a receipt of me taking Spanish classes so that I can learn Spanish. These are receipts that show that I bought something in Cuba. And I think I actually still have these receipts just in case. But yes, receipts, top-ups. And top-ups are just like, Ding was one of them, where I would put money on Julio's phone so he can call me whenever he ran out of money or anything like that. I would send a top-up. So that's what that is. These are my airline ticket information. So emails showing, what my flight was, all my details. This is everything that I included in the form. So I'm not skimming by too fast, but these are all the details that I included. Every single flight. before, of course, from the I-129. You can see. And the last but not least, I did include a thank you. Basically saying thank you for taking your time and consideration to look over our documents, and I'm hoping that everything was well organized in details and that we included all the content that we needed and that we're very serious about our relationship. But this is all of the documents that I sent over, and like I said, guys, I didn't get an RFE. Yay! We got our NOA 2, we got an approval. So these are all the documents that you will need in order to submit. Of course, every case is different. So if you do have any like legal issues or any background that you need to include, it's gonna be more specific to your case. So make sure to include that. But for us, this was it. So next is answering your guys' questions. All right, guys, so you got to see all the documents that we submitted for our I-129 form. Right now, I'm gonna be answering all the questions that I saw you guys submit under my K1 process video. So let's just get right into the first question. First one that I received: can I travel with my ESTA, which is Electronic System Travel Authorization, while waiting on my NOA 2 for the K1 visa? Yes, as long as it's valid, you can travel with your ESTA, but if you're applying for it, I don't think it'd be the best time. But if you do have a valid one and you have been traveling, then you should be fine. But of course, every country may be different, so make sure you just follow up and see what your country states about that. But I think you shouldn't have any issues. So I hope that answers your question. Question number 2, do we both have to be present at the interview or only the beneficiary?
Now for me, my wife of wife stay with me. If me stay alone,
okay, so to answer your question, no, the petitioner doesn't have to be at the interview. It could just be the beneficiary that's outside the country doing their interview. But I do recommend both of you guys being there, only because I'll give you guys an example. Julio knew I was a project manager, but he didn't know what field I was working in. And that's something that the interviewee asked. He was like, yes, what field does Cassy work in as a project manager? And then Julio was like, he was like, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I actually never told him that I work under marketing. So, something like that. That's why I highly recommend both parties being there just in case, but it's not required. You don't have to have both of them be there. And I get it, it's super costly having to go there and, you know, be at the interview. I completely understand, but I do highly recommend it. All right, question number 3. Can a friend who is a witness to your relationship write a letter of support even though they haven't met your significant other? Yes, they can. Like, even if it's a video chat or anything like that, they ever spoke to them on the phone and they see how happy you are in your relationship, they can write a letter of support basically saying, listen, my friend is very happy, or my sister or my uncle, whoever it is, like, this person is very happy and I think this is a great person. I think they make a great match. Sorry guys, they make a great match, and I fully support the relationship. You can definitely have your friend do so.
Okay.
All right, question number 4. Do you need to include all passport pages in the I-129 form for yourself, the petitioner, and for the beneficiary? You don't have to do it for both parties, but I do recommend the petitioner, the person filing the I-129, include all their passport pages. I did, as you guys saw, I included all my passport pages. I wanted them to see all the Cuba stamps everywhere I've been around the world. I want them to see that. I didn't do it for Julio. He didn't have a passport, but that's completely fine. I had his ID. You don't need to have the beneficiary's passport pages in the I-129, but if you want to include it, well, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
So you can do it if you want. All right, next question. Whew, I need some water. Okay, on the how we met, does both petitioner and beneficiary have to sign and date it? No. When you're sending it out, no. But I would say the next time you do see them, I do recommend them signing it just in case you'll need it for the interview. But on the how we met, I was the only person to sign it when I sent out the packet. So you don't need to have both parties sign it for the I-129. So you should be completely fine by just mailing it out with your signature and you dating it. All right. Next question, guys. Do I need to write a letter on how we met? I recommend it because, like I said, they want to know the details on how you guys met. They want to make sure your relationship is real. So I would say yes and be specific as possible. I provided the date that I landed, the first time I laid eyes on Julio. I was like, damn!
All the details possible,
You include it.
Yeah.
Make sure to include it. Super, super important. Yes, make sure to do it. And granted, mine was 3 pages long, guys. It doesn't have to be that long. It could literally be a page, but I'm extra, so you don't have to do it that long. How long does the process take? So originally, like I mentioned, guys, I filed September 2019 and our interview was first scheduled for May 2020. So guys, that was like 8 months. 8 months. It would have only taken 8 months, but with the pandemic, it took us 14 months in total. So a year and 2 months for our interview. So as of right now, 2022, it is taking a very long time. I want to say minimum is a year. I don't think it's going longer than 2 years, but the good news I'm hearing is that they're working on cases, whether it's like hiring more people to work on the cases and like get them out there, whether they need approvals, RFEs, but they're trying their hardest to get all of the cases done.
Yes.
So
true.
this is great news. I just actually heard it recently. So this is great for everyone that's been waiting. I know a lot of people have been waiting. I still have friends who are waiting, and it's not an easy process like I'd mentioned before, but it's a great one. I have my best friend here. I have my husband here. So it's worth it, guys. It's worth it. So I hope that answers all of your, that's all the questions. If you have any other questions, comment below, let me know. If there's any other videos that you guys want me to do, covering any other details. If you don't know what happens with the DI-160 form. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, because I know someone wrote me on Instagram, they're like, do I need a lawyer? I feel like I'm being misguided. You don't need a lawyer, guys. And most of them don't really know the K-1 process. Granted, if they're like an immigration lawyer and their main focus is on K-1 visas, CR1 visas, then I highly recommend it. But you can truly do this on your own and by just doing research on Google, joining different groups on Facebook, or via I do recommend Visa Journey, guys. Go on Visa Journey, make an account, and like go on there, create your profile and your timeline. Julio and I have a timeline on there, and to track everything. Every time we need to look back on a day, like, oh, when did we get our NOA1? Or I always look on there because I updated our timeline. Even with our AOS interview, I updated it. So I highly recommend creating a profile on visajourney.com and searching for questions, because I'm pretty sure if you have questions, somebody else had asked it before and has an answer for it. So I highly recommend it, guys. This is the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to
subscribe.
Make sure to
like this video.
Make sure to I'm done. All right, guys. Have a great night.
Okay,
we love you guys.
I love you guys. I trust this video is helping you.
Yes.
All these people saying this process. But love is love. So you believe in love?
Yep, that's true. And truly, guys, I'm doing this because I really, really want to help you guys. And during this process, I had so many people help me. So it's like, I want to help you. So I'm hoping I do. Comment below if if you find these videos helpful, and I'll continue doing them. Love you guys.